Hi, I'm Bodie Webster. I'm the head strength and conditioning coach here at Champions Gym. Today we're going to get into a bit of a Q&A. Let's get started. Alright, so I'm new here asks, what are DOMs? I hear people at the gym talking about these all the time. Where do I get them? So DOMs is short for delayed onset of muscle soreness. Basically, this is what happens when you exercise a little bit too hard and you notice the next day that you get a little bit sore and you might be a little bit stiff and it's hard to move. People think that the soreness is what we need to actually progress and improve. This isn't true. We can make lots of progression and small little steps over time without becoming sore. So our goal should be to train to a point where we're maybe just a little bit stiff and a little bit sore the next day, but nothing that really stops you from doing anything in your normal daily tasks. Alrighty, next question we have is from Slim Body Insta Babe. She asks, will I get too bulky? I just want to be toned and don't want to lose my Instagram followers from being too muscular. So, Slim Body Insta Babe, do not fear. You will not get too bulky. Doing strength training, a lot of females are usually concerned about, sort of putting on too much size and getting bulky and looking like a big bodybuilder. The best way that I can answer this for you is just say, think about how much hard work goes into actually being a bodybuilder, how much food they have to eat, how much training they have to do, how much steroids they have to take and other drugs. In order for them to just put on that little bit of muscle and look a bit bigger, that's the kind of effort they have to go to. So for you to just do a little bit of training a couple of times a week, a little bit of strength training here and there, and be eating just a little bit more protein than normal, you're not gonna be putting on that much size. You'll get a lot stronger, but you're not gonna be putting on a crazy amount of size. It's like saying you're too scared to get your car license because you're gonna become a rally car driver. Just doesn't make sense. Alrighty, next question we have is from I Love to Lift 365. Asks, how often should I train? I want to train 2 times a day, 7 days a week, but I can't walk anymore. So this is a question that I actually get really, really often. I think how often you should train is going to be a super individual basis. So what we want to look for first of all is how much have you been training and what are your goals? If you've already been training, 3 or 4 days a week, you're finding you're sort of plateauing a bit and not really getting to your goals that you have, then maybe we need to look at upping it a little bit. Maybe we need to change what you're actually doing in those sessions that you are training. However, if you're someone who's never trained before a day in your life, automatically jumping to 5 or 6 days is going to be too much. So it's all about where are we, where are we trying to get to, and what's the path in between. So super variable, it really can be anywhere in between there. So always ask your local professional. Okay, next question up from Betty White's mortgage broker. They ask, what is strength and conditioning? Is it CrossFit? Strength and conditioning is where we're sort of looking at doing some strength training, some conditioning, separating those two for a desired outcome. So we're trying to get a particular area stronger or a particular area more conditioned, and we have a clear path that we're trying to set to achieve those. CrossFit is more about blending the two and using strength training as conditioning, doing a lot of high volume, a lot of reps in there, and sort of just combining everything, more about getting a workout than it is about actually progressing. Fish_and_rice cakes, they ask, what should I eat after training and why is it fish and rice cakes? After training, after a heavy training session, we want to be looking at, first of all, we need to have a look at our recovery. So we've probably worked our muscles a little bit and we need to make sure we're recovering them in an adequate way, meaning that we want to add lots of protein into that post-workout meal. Protein is the building blocks of all of our muscles, so we need to make sure we're getting that into us so that we can actually rebuild, recover and replenish those muscles. The second thing we have to look at as well is our carbohydrates. So during your workout, you've obviously burnt a lot of muscle glycogen, a lot of glucose in your body. So we need to make sure we're replenishing those energy stores as well by eating some carbohydrates. So some protein in there, some carbohydrates. It doesn't have to be fish and rice cakes, but it can be if you really want to. Alrighty, last question we have is from Timbo Slice 44, and he asks me, is it possible to do too many bicep curls? Unfortunately, yes, it is, Timbo. It is possible to do too many of any exercise that we choose. So if we're just constantly doing the same exercises all the time on repeat without doing anything else or without adequate rest in between, we're probably going to overload ourselves at some point and cause some sort of injury, whether that be to the muscle, to a joint near the muscle, to the tendons, ligaments, can be anything, whatever basically gives first. but you're going to end up doing some sort of damage to somewhere. So it's about finding that optimal load and sharing that around our whole body rather than just targeting one area.